We're live now.
We're good. Yep.
Okay, so good afternoon. I want to welcome everybody to the St. Catharines Heritage Advisory Committee meeting for August the 28th, 2025. It's 2:32 according to the clock on my laptop. And seeing we've got quorum, let's get the show underway. So we begin this gathering by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Acknowledging this reminds us that our great standard of living is directly related to the resources and friendship of the Indigenous people. Do we have any additions or deletions to be made to the agenda?
I have some.
Oh.
Just two actually that come to mind. One is that Neil Pert's last name is misspelled. I believe it's Peart rather than Pert.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, I'll make a note
Okay.
on Christian's not here anymore, but I'll make a note to make that
Okay.
change before we publish them online. Yes, I
Right.
think
And
that's
then
good.
that people might notice that one. And then the second one is I wonder if I think I referred to the Masons as brick Masons. And so I don't know if there's a significant difference between brick Masons and Masons. So maybe we should refer to them as brick Masons in the
Okay.
in the notes.
Okay.
Someone else might know better than I, but I know that they consider
Hmm.
themselves brick Masons.
Okay.
Mark, you want to weigh in on that?
I can. Yeah.
We have a Mason in the room.
Oh, do we? Is he here?
Mark.
Well, it depends.
Yeah, no,
Depends,
I didn't see him here. Okay, Mark.
yeah, depends the context, right? If it's clear that you're talking about a building or stone or bricks, then that goes without saying. But if you
Okay.
want to, but there's also stone mason and banker mason, brick mason. Like then where do you stop there too? What's the context?
So it's talking about the dismantling of the archway for the St. Catharines General Hospital, which is being moved to the former hospital, which is being moved to the new hospital.
I mean, if you want to say brick mason, sure, but I think because of context, you'll be fine. I don't think
Okay.
you're going to have like the masons in robes taking down the bricks from the Oddfellows Hall or anything like that. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can make
Thanks. I
sure.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
I can make sure both changes are made. Yep. I think it's a good issue.
assume these are from the minutes that you're talking, Lorraine?
Oh, shoot. Yes,
You jumped the gun.
I did jump the gun. You're right. Sorry.
Yep. No. So additions or deletions to the agenda. I didn't see any hands flying up, so I assume it's okay. Okay. Motion to approve the agenda. Maria, thank you. And all in favor? Okay, done. Now, motion to adopt the minutes of the previous meeting. Do we have any changes to be made, Lorraine?
I would
heard-
suggest that we fix Neil Pert's name.
Yep. And I can add brick masons as well. I'll
Okay.
do both of those things. Yeah.
Thanks.
I made
My
a note here.
apologies.
No, it's okay.
Too eager.
Any other changes or questions, comments? If not, then I guess we need a motion to approve the minutes or the amended minutes. Lorraine, thank you. And all in favor? Okay, done. Declarations of interest. Do we have any? Nope. Okay. So business item 7.1, the information item, the Lock One Commons Park. I guess Hank, you're going to address us about this.
Yeah. Well, I'll just provide some background context, and then Hank can go. I have all of your pictures, Hank.
Okay.
And you can go and make your presentation. So just right before I pass things over to Hank, I just want to provide a little bit of that background information. This is an information item because no approvals are being sought at this time. But it's important that you know what's going on, especially in the Heritage District. Hank is currently working with Community Recreation and Cultural Services, CRCS, and Parks and Forestry staff on a concept for improvements to the public realm at what is now known as Lockhart Point Park. And the first phase involves the removal of some existing fencing and vegetation, but Hank will tell you more about that soon. It's early days and design isn't finalized. Some of the elements, such as the fence style, is still under discussion with city staff. But I mean, we're definitely here after Hank's presentation to receive some feedback and ideas. And I'm taking notes. The intent was to have someone from CRCS here today. But they've asked me to take any of your notes or feedback or suggestions and send it to them. So I guess it's important to note that what is right now known as Lockhart Point Park is located beside the Lock One Commons, which is where the amphitheater is. And kind of separately, the city's undergoing a public naming process for that area. And there has been a lot of public interest. I sent you all a consultation email for collecting potential names. I know there's a lot of interest in recognizing the late Councillor Carlos Garcia and there's been a lot of suggestions related to that. So the naming for that space is still underway, and the shortlist is expected to be brought back later this fall. So I think that's important to keep in mind that there are a lot of changes happening in the area right now. But yeah, definitely. I guess with keeping that in mind, I want Hank to walk us through the materials and the concept that he shared with us. And I will share my screen. Hold on. One sec, sorry. Mm -hmm. There you go. And Hank, if you are looking for something in particular for me to put up here, just let me know.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
I'll let you I think I sent out a before picture and an
Oh, yeah.
after picture because it's already underway.
Yes, right
And I
here.
sent you a location.
Yeah.
And also there was a historical artifact that is right next to it that I would like to talk about as well.
Okay, perfect. Right now I have the before and after up on the screen. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yep. And then the location of the new proposed fence in blue here. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just start and we'll see where we go. I didn't really prepare a big presentation other than sending in some material, but the idea of developing this piece, which is really the approach wall of the second canal, it was came up after Carlos passed last fall, and a number of us sort of socialized it around the community, and everybody thought it was a great idea. And it really deals with two issues. One is commemorating Carlos, but secondly, it's the last piece of overgrown, messy, and area that you couldn't even see through because it had two fences, one partly on the wall and one about, in some cases, as much as 20 feet away from the wall. So anyway, so in some ways we're gaining park space by cleaning this out. Last week we had 7 volunteers, spent 2.5 hours cleaning out all the underbrush, and you can see the results of that in the picture. Um, and we took two loads to the dump, one with trash and one with underbrush, large loads. And it looks, you can see through it now, and it's in much better shape. I was there this morning again. We were cutting and removing the chain link fence that was bolted to the wall close to the bottom where the washrooms are. The blue line on the left part of your screen shows you where it's our intention to put a new fence. And I think I've also shared with you a picture of the fencing. That's on the bottom left corner now. That's the fencing that we propose to install. It is 5 feet high, and it has finials on top, so it's not easy to climb over because it's a pretty steep drop off into the lock. And we propose to put that fence on top of the wall, all the way down from the end of the fence on the right, which is the original fence. That was the heritage fence that we repaired last year. We took each section out and had it sandblasted, powder coated, and painted. And we sort of replaced them as things went along. They're very heavy. They're probably original. That was before things were welded. So they didn't start using welding in any serious way until the 20s and 30s. And acetylene wasn't even invented until 1840. So all of these things are pinned. Trying to find anything like that is almost impossible and horrendously expensive. So all of that fencing was repaired, and we had one section of fencing that we took out to put the trolley booth, and we added that to the other end, so none of it was lost, and that virtually completes the lock or by the stage. So it completes the stage area. Now from there on in, we're proposing to put the fence on the left bottom, all the way down to the washrooms. And we're working with the yacht club and with the BWC, and the fence has been we found it after a whole lot of trying. And we think it's going to look great. I originally made a trip all the way up to Biddle and ended up in a gravel pit somewhere where somebody was selling fencing, and I didn't like the fencing they had there. So this fencing here comes from Dunville, but it has finials on top as the other ones do. It's not quite as sharp, which is probably good because that could be a bit hazardous. So we're all at this point, after this morning's work, the top of the wall is cleared off, and we're ready to go basically on Monday to do the install. So what we had proposed was that there's really 3 phases to this project. The first phase was to clear out of the underbrush, and we did all of that already. We did some preparation this morning, and the install is currently scheduled for September 2nd. So once that's done, then the city has agreed, Dan Cooper has agreed to basically clear the site and level it and smooth it out. Take out the tree stumps. A lot of those trees were really bad condition. I cut some of them myself, and chainsaw went through them like butter. They were completely rotten inside. So all the bad trees are taken out. There's some good trees left, a good walnut tree that we kept, and there's another mulberry tree, I think. And the city has planted some oaks earlier, but that's on the outside of the fence. So once the install is complete, then it's safe, and all the chain link fencing will be removed. The fencing that is several feet, or in some cases, as much as 20 feet from the wall. And that will give us once that's cleared and grubbed, then that'll be probably it for the year, I think. And then we will in the spring we'll work on the design, and I think that was sent to you as well. That design was prepared by James McWilliam, who's an architect, landscape architect in Port Dalhousie, and he's doing this for free. So this is not, I would say, definitive. It is an aspirational type of thing, and we're up for discussion on all of it. Really, but we wanted to show a vision of what could be done with the area. And this is his vision, and we certainly like to put some benches in there. It's a beautiful overlook when you're there. It overlooks Front Street as well as the boats and all that, so it really adds to. It'll be a great addition to the city, I think. And how exactly that's designed is not finalized, but this is at least an attempt to show you what could be done there. So that's something I think we should have some discussion on. There's already been some discussion with the community about the fact that things like what do they call these perennial gardens don't work very well, and other people are saying we should do this or that. So there's lots of talk about it. But yeah, so this also shows the fence where it's located. We're probably going to have to put a little bit more fence going this way up the because this is where the patio is on the can you see my cursor?
No, Hank, they won't be able to see it. So
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Where do you want me to? I can
Well,
try to
if you
point
have
to.
a cursor, you put
Yeah.
a cursor next to the washroom, and between the washroom and the wall,
Okay.
that
Right
area
here.
will probably need an extension, because the yacht club shared with me that kids like to climb up onto their patio. So we'll have to talk with them about that. But anyway, that's sort of where it's at. And then we hope that we can have it all ready for opening by Canada Day 2026, which is, of course, our 200th anniversary of the founding of Port Dalhousie. So that's where it's at. It's well underway.
Okay. In terms of landscaping, for this little parquet, have you given thought to using native plants, which are going to be more hardy and disease resistant? I'm thinking about, things like service berries and that sort of thing.
Well, we're certainly open to anything when it comes to that. I mean, like I said, this drawing was made to cast a vision,
Right.
and we have the winter basically to work out the details. What we would like to say, make it so that it's as maintenance free as possible.
Right. And maybe get a nice white flowering dogwood on that spot. I mean, it would have a nice spread. It would be gorgeous in the spring.
Yeah. Well, what we're hoping to do is to get some in-kind donations of that specific material.
Right.
That's the intention. The fencing from the end of the original fence to the washroom is paid for. So the Conservancy is going to be writing a check for that.
One thing that you might want to consider, or the Heritage Committee might want to consider at some point, would be to have a little plaque, commemorative plaque made up for this park site, because one of the buildings that stood close to that lock, which is long gone, is the old I guess the collector's customs collector's office. We've got pictures of it. It was I think a white frame building, and it'd be nice to have maybe a photo of it, because we do have historic pictures of it, and to just commemorate the fact that on this site there once stood the collector's office. So I mean, it was a major building associated with the second canal, and taking revenues from the ships passing through.
Yeah, that's great. If you could send me that picture, Brian, that'd be wonderful. It is our intention to put a plaque up on a plinth somewhere in that area dedicated to Carlos. Carlos
Right.
was a big part of the creation of the Heritage District in the first place. And so we want to put a commemorative plaque up there. So that's what we have to work on during the winter.
Right.
As well. But we can get a plinth made up, and we just need to know what's on it.
Right. Okay.
Now,
Lorraine, sorry.
I just had a couple comments. First of all, I was going to suggest a plaque that had Carlos and the history. I think people wouldn't necessarily know what was there unless you had something that sort of described it. I think that would be a great addition. And then I wondered why you had said that people were saying perennial gardens don't work well. Can you explain that? What's their thinking?
I think perennial is probably not the right word. I'm trying to think pollinator gardens. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's been tried so many times, and it
Right.
just, they have tried one next to the lock keeper shanty, and they just can't keep up with it. It's just too much work. And the
Right.
one on the island didn't work either. That was tried, and I know that James has put pollinator garden on this design as well, and that's what I'm referring to.
Okay, because perennial gardens are usually the
Yeah.
easiest, I find, to take care of. And the city, just a note, you probably knew this already, but the city has a free giveaway in the spring, and dogwood is one of the types of plants that they give out for free. So you might want to
Okay.
consider that as just a way to save a little bit of money.
No, I appreciate that. The fencing alone is about an $8,000
Hmm.
project.
Fencing is expensive. It looks great though.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it
think it's gonna look,
potentially will look great based
yeah,
on the drawing in the picture.
yeah, I think it'll look, if we can get the fencing up and we can get the site leveled and filled in and have the stump grinder come in and take out the stumps and that sort of thing, I think then it'll be great for the winter, and then we can do the planning for the rest.
And
The one thing I would on the top left corner of my screen, I think, is that I don't know what that is. I can tell you that there's that slab of stone laying on top of a square hole. And what we were thinking of is lifting that slab. Is it just a slab laying there? And it's also got some sharp metal spikes coming out of it. So I don't know what it was originally, but it's just sitting over a square hole. And we were thinking of maybe taking that and making it part of the garden, and perhaps putting a couple of stones underneath it and making that into a bench by itself. And then the hole would have to be filled in anyway because it would be dangerous for kids and stuff. But I don't know
Where
what-
exactly is that sitting in relation to the lock?
Well, if you look on the design, back on the design, it's indicated on the drawing. If you could bring it down a bit, Lauren.
Yeah, it's very zoomed out. Oh.
Bring it over.
Let's see. Sorry, it's being very slow for me. It's over here.
You pull it the other way now.
Yeah, it's going. It's just taking its time. It's right here, correct?
Nope, a little
Oh,
further.
even further?
Well, I can't see it because I've got all your faces in front of it, but a little further. There it is. You see that square?
Mhm.
It says concrete sidewalk just to the left of that. That's it.
I know that is a conversation to have with engineers. We wanted to confirm what that actually was and what its use and purpose was before making any plans around it. But yeah, I think it's an interesting idea for sure.
Well, the slab that's currently on top of it is not attached to it. It's just sitting there. It's a very heavy stone. And I don't know how it's related to it either. But
I think it's just more research to do for sure.
yeah, well, I'm sure someone will know.
Yep.
But yeah, something needs to happen there anyway. But we have a fair bit of time. Like once the fencing is in, it's cleared out and it's cleared off, then we'll have some time to consider the whole package of things that we would like to do.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think once there is more of a plan worked out, we can also come back to the committee and show them what the final design is going to be as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions or comments for Hank? And if not, then I guess we would need a motion to receive the information about the Lock One Commons. Mark, you want to make that motion? Okay, so all in favor? Okay, done. Thank you, Hank.
Thank you. I hope that everything goes as smoothly as it has so far. It was quite to see that. It was nice to see the city there with all their hardware and boom trucks and cranes and everything else lifting all those trees out of there.
Right.
But it's a big improvement already.
Okay, so I'll be sure and send you that picture of the collector's office.
Okay, have a look and see if there's anything that shows what that square concrete thing was too.
Yeah, you've piqued my curiosity.
Yeah, it must have had some use.
Exactly. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yep. So moving on to item 7.2, we have a designated heritage property grant for 125 Ontario Street for veranda repairs. And I believe we have Rachel Fortino here to razzle dazzle us with a presentation.
Yes, hi. So basically, I'm just looking for a grant for improvements to the building. It's a beautiful heritage building built in, built in 1905 by the Newman brothers. My dad opened the salon in 1979, And about 10 years ago, I took over owning it. So COVID set us back, but in the last 10 years, we've been trying to do minor improvements that we can afford to do. And with COVID, that's just kind of delayed us a lot. So I did happen to find somebody who could, because this is the other issue, is I find people to do it and then they either don't show up or they don't know how to do it, or so I finally found somebody to redo the front, which was becoming very like hazardous. A lot of people like to sit on that front railing there, either while their color's processing or they're waiting for a ride, or sometimes when we're listening to events that are happening in Montebello, and it just makes me very nervous. So finally, I found somebody who would duplicate what is there without destroying anything else. Originally, we wanted to keep the spindles, but he recommended that they were too old to reuse. So we actually just had them remade the exact same way. And in the process, I'm just applying for help with the finances of doing these old, beautiful buildings. So this is the after. So they use mahogany wood, actually, because he said that would be the most durable for outdoor use, and like we probably wouldn't have to do it again anytime soon. It hasn't been stained yet. The porch and the railings haven't been stained yet. The porch was done about 5 years ago, but the railings were just done. They were just completed last week. So now I have to stain them. And the next project, which we're hoping if we get approval for this grant, next year we can use the grant money to do the pillars. I can't point, but the pillars that are basically holding the veranda up, they're our next kind of mission. And this contractor that I found is somebody that he will hopefully continue on in doing it for me, because he seems to have a very old school way of doing things, which is what you kind of need for even tearing things down, like taking things out without destroying the old. Like it's hard to find people who respect like the actual era and the building and want to keep it the same without destroying what's already there. So that's kind of my presentation for now. We're just doing the veranda this year is all we can afford to do. Plus we want, we're going to kind of space it out. I talked to Lauren about like we're going to space it out so that we can kind of take advantage of as much grants as possible while operating the building too, like operating the business inside the building, because you can't do too much without closing. So so that's basically all I have to say for today. I'm so happy with the turnout. I think it looks beautiful. It's such a great addition and clients are loving it. And obviously it makes me feel better that it's a safer structure now.
Thanks. I was going to say it really looks sharp.
Yeah.
He's done a good job on it.
Yeah, I was really happy with it.
What happened to the original spindles and stuff? Were they just trashed?
So what happened is, I guess originally when it was done, it was kind of like tension that kept them together. And then over the years, because the wood started to rot, somebody screwed them in to the top and the bottom railing. And so over the years, some of them have cracked, some of them were rotted. They had layers and layers and layers and layers of paint on them that he said by the time he got all the paint off of it, there probably wouldn't be much left. So we just decided, instead of like going through half of them and realizing that none of them are good, we would just redo. So he took a couple that were already removed, like all the ones that had broken off I kept, just in case it was something he could do to put, or somebody, once I found somebody, if they could put them back on without having to make a new one. But he ended up taking those back and then remaking them and then bringing them back and putting it in. So it's basically exactly how it was before. I mean, just better.
Does anybody have any questions or comments about the work or the proposal? Not seeing any. I guess everybody must
It
be
looks like
happy.
Mark actually has a question.
Oh, Mark,
Oh,
go
just
ahead.
you asked up for questions or comments, and I just wanted to say that this carpenter did a excellent job.
Oh, thank
Very
you.
good attention to detail, making it look the same. And I like that you're going to stain it and not paint it. I think that'll be it looks sharp.
Yeah, they chose the mahogany, and then it was kind of their choice because, and I tend to, as a professional, I tend to trust the professional and what their recommendations are. And yeah, he suggested the mahogany, and that once it was done, it would look beautiful, and it really does. And I know, Mark, you had worked on the wall in front, right? When we had
Yeah,
the
many
stone
years
wall.
ago.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
oh, maybe 10 years ago now, but so I know you know the building.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there's no other questions, comments, I guess we need a motion to approve the grant application for 50% of the final costs up to a maximum of 5,000. Does anyone wish to make that motion? Robert Speck, I see your hand waving frantically. Thank you. And all in favor? Okay, done.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'll be in touch with next steps, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Moving on to item 7.3, the CNR Bridge Interpretation Update. And I believe Adrian is here to astound us with his wisdom about
No,
this.
not at all. Just a very brief update to let you know about a couple of things that are going on. Yep, you can go ahead and show us those pictures, Lauren, because you've already shown us. Great.
That was an
We'll start
accident, yeah.
Surprise! Just kidding. So I thought you would enjoy seeing these photos. The two of the bridge posts from the old bridge arrived from the region and from Rankin in the coolest way possible, I think, if anybody likes machines like I do. So they were able to save 3 of the posts from the bridge. They've decided to keep one. It's not in great shape. And so we weren't going to take it. And then, so they're keeping one for, I think, Lauren, I can't remember what the wording was, but some potential future maybe use at the site, but there isn't any firm plans. It's currently in Rankin's possession. So, and then we took these two. So these two are now in the collection, and we'll be working on getting them on display in the next maybe year or two or so. They're not easy, and they're super heavy. Ridiculously heavy, and they've still got, like, you can see on the left hand side photo in the bottom, there's concrete inside of them a little bit, so it's like, let's just add more weight to these things. So we'll have to do some engineering here to get them on, but that's in our wheelhouse, so that's fine. But I thought you would enjoy the photos. Regarding the interpretive panel that's going to be installed on the new bridge, about the old bridge, that is coming along very nicely. There are some last minute design changes, and then it'll be coming to you via email likely, so that we can get some feedback and comment on the content. If you remember the discussion about the panel in the first place, and Lauren and I have been working with the engineering team at the city and the region on this, about the scope of the panel. The idea is to try to keep it about the bridge and the bridge area, the crossing and that kind of thing, and then focus on the station when the station is done, whenever we get that opportunity, with additional interpretive panels nearby. So that's the scope. And then so we'll send that to you, that final design, hopefully next week, with some time for comment. And then it's got to go off to it's a very convoluted process, but it's got to go off to I think it's Rankin, who's looking after um, the actual printing and installing of it, which is great. And I think they're paying for it, or the region, I can't remember. Anyway, so that's great. Lauren can fill us in. The details don't really matter, but it's a big team working on a panel, and that makes me laugh. So anyway, I thought you would enjoy that little update. Additionally, Lauren, if I could just add, there was a question last week from Brian regarding the materials from the oil fountain. Those materials will come to the museum. So there's your update. Okie doke. I think that's it from me.
Thank you, Adrian. I had one question about these metal posts.
Yes.
Are they going to be displayed outside the Lock 3 building, or are they going to be
No.
inside?
Inside.
Inside, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because with the cost of scrap metal, you don't want to risk having them outdoors.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you might remember that we will be working on phase 4 of the museum's interpretive plan next year, which involves redeveloping Discovery Park. And so we have enough to deal with outside as it is. I don't, we're not going to add anything to it, and on a limited budget. So yeah, these will get added to the display that's in the gallery right now, the permanent display of architectural remnants. So that may replace some other options, or I may be able to add them in depending. But yeah, there you go.
In terms of a plaque, commemorating the bridge and I guess the railway station, I don't know if you need any images for that. I've got two. One is showing the railway station, and it's taken from the bridge looking towards it, and there's a whole troop of, I guess, Lincoln and Welland regimental troops going off in 1915, and they're all lined up on the platform. It was a picture that Fred Parnell took, so that might be interesting, but I don't know if there's room for it on the plaque. And then I've got another picture of the original station as it was at the time of the Fenian raids. It's one of those watercolors, and showing wounded troops being brought in after the events up at Ridgeway. So
yes, we would like to include those images on future panels at the station. The scope on this particular panel was pretty tight because of the size that we have to put into it's actually going to sit into an architectural wall that will be included on the bridge. So we had a very tight scope and size, etc. But at the station, we hope that we can have some park space so that we won't be limited in size, and we can do a bit of a more maybe a bigger interpretive landing with a couple of different panels showing and telling a couple of different stories about the sidings that were there, the wrapping in the bridge, the different stations, and then of course I think something that's so important and what helps people connect to the site is how different people have used it. So going to and coming home from war and are just a couple of those sort of personal stories that we'd like to include. So that's the idea. But yeah, unfortunately, the scope on this one is pretty tight, and it's already designed. So we do have our images chosen, and so we'll send it to you for comment. If you have something better to replace an image with, it just has to fit the same dimensions, because we're short. We're getting to be close to the deadline, and it is taking a while to get this done. But as I mentioned, there is opportunity. It's funny that you mentioned that, Brian, because Andy Panko suggested some of the same photos and also sent us some great interwar photos as well as some steam engines and that kind of thing. So there's lots of opportunity, and I'm sure we could just fill a whole wall at the station filled with photos, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
okay. Well, I can send you the two pictures that I have.
That'd be great. Yes.
If you want to see them.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
And personal recollections of that bridge. My grandmother used to be out at Extendicare, and the odd time we had to take the bus to go over to visit Granny. And we had one driver who was a regular on that trip. And as soon as you started getting near the top of the bridge, he'd say, "Okay, everybody, lift your butts," because yeah, you become airborne and come crashing back down. So it could be a painful experience.
We were very I was a little bit, because like it's driving over the bridge too fast is obviously not like an endorsed activity. So I was a little bit worried about including some of those reminiscences in the text of the panel. Just I wasn't sure if it would make it through, but I'm very happy to report that those reminiscences have been included on the panel. So there is the element of catching air is is on the panel. So people will be happy to hear that. I know that's why people love the bridge. So, well, one of the reasons that people love the bridge. So,
Do we have any other questions or comments for Adrian? Oh, Mark?
Yeah. Do you know what's going to happen with are you guys going to leave it as is, like the paint and the patina and all? Or
the on the posts.
yeah.
Yeah, well, just to give a little bit of cleanup, they were sitting under the contractor's trailer, so they do have like the white stuff that you see there on the left post is just like dust adhered by rain kind of thing. So we'll
Right.
give them a cleanup, but yeah, they'll look essentially what they look like. We just do preservation. We don't do conservation. So,
That's cool.
yeah, I'm hoping to keep the graffiti because it's kind of neat. But we won't really know what the public will get to see until we engineer a way to have them standing
Okay.
without falling because they're heavy.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if there's no other questions or comments, then I guess we need a motion to receive Adrian's update. Maria? Thank you. And all in favor? Okay, done. Thanks, Adrian.
Everybody. Yes, you're most welcome.
Okay, moving on, item 7.4, the in-person meeting on November the 6th. Lauren, you will give us an update.
Just a very quick update. So I sent out that poll to everybody. It was just gauging kind of what people's availability was and like what was most accessible for people. And I think it was determined that the November 6th date and with the location at City Hall is what we're going to be moving forward with. So that will allow the largest number of people to be there. It seems to be the date and time and place that most people can make. So I'm going to be working on putting together an agenda for that meeting. It will be a full meeting, so it's going to be public. We're going to put an agenda online where it's technically going to be open to the public. So if you have anything that in particular that you want to have on that agenda, I think kind of the intent is to talk about just committee processes and how things are working, and look at how we make decisions and share information about doing research and updates on designations and that kind of stuff. And also just to see each other in person and enjoy each other's company. And I think that would be also nice. So if you have anything specific to put on that agenda, I'm going to be starting to put together something more formal. Especially if it's something that is best done in person, we can collaborate together in person. So yeah.
So that's going to be on the same floor as where the council chamber is?
I'm not sure which room yet. I have to book a room, but it'll be in a room. If you have a request, let me know on which room.
How about the council?
Council chambers would be awesome. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can. If I can. James might know.
You can book it.
I
for
could
sure.
book the council. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I'll book the council chambers then.
It's
beautiful space.
It is a bigger room than you think for discussion.
Yeah.
So we would need some support for tech and stuff like that because it can be hard to hear.
Yeah.
So
we can all sit in the
it is
council
fun, but
seats.
I don't necessarily recommend it. It might be more difficult than we think, but it's a possibility.
As long as I get to sit in the mayor's chair.
That is up to the clerk's office.
And I'll bring my gavel to bang on the desk.
Brian's excited.
Maria, you have a question.
Yes. Being at City Hall, is it paid parking?
I can look into that because we do have, James, because we do have like meeting parking that is available, but I don't know the processes for that.
Yeah, we can look into, we'll talk to our parking people,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. I don't know the better name for them, and see if there's some sort of arrangement that can be made. I'm not sure how other committees operate because a lot of other committees operate in person. I just don't know what they do about parking. So we'll make sure that that's all ironed out though before November.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
I was going to say that in the past, when we met with Chloe, if we drove, Chloe would give us a sign to put in like on our the front windshield that just stated that we were there for a city meeting, and that was how it worked. It was very easy. So she must have gotten it from someone, but that authorized us to park and not have to pay.
Yeah, the parking now at City Hall, and some of you might have experienced it just from any of the public parking in the city, it's now through Honk, which is kind of an app.
Oh, right.
And so we have usually at least there's probably a link that we'll be able to provide you where you can then like click on it and sign up because you have to register your license with it or your license plate, sorry. And so essentially then it would let our staff that go around and do all the bylaw enforcement, they would just look at your license plate and say, yep, they're good. So but we'll get that all sorted out for everybody.
Okay.
Mark, did you have your hand up?
I did, but Lorraine was talking about what I wanted to talk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those little orange pieces of paper that we used to get.
Yep. Okay. Do you have any questions for Lauren about her presentation? Or any further questions? If not, then I guess we need a motion to receive the update. Lorraine, thank you.
I'm looking forward to it, Lauren.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very fun to have everybody together and to be able to talk about heritage issues in the same room. I think it'll be really nice. Yeah.
And then presumably after this, we'd be going back to Zoom meetings, or is this going to be going forward? We'll be meeting in person.
I mean, that's one thing that we could talk about at the in-person meeting. I think the plan right now is still to have them online through Zoom, and then maybe occasionally have these kind of special meetings where we see each other in person. But I think that's part of the discussion. Yeah.
Okay. So we have Lorraine has made the motion, so all in favor? Okay, done. 7.5, the Downtown Heritage Task Force updates. Lauren and James, I guess you're going to be telling us all about that.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, go ahead, James. You go first. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can provide a bit of an update about the Downtown Heritage Task Force. So essentially, there was I mean, this goes back to when the Downtown HCD went to the study went to council for approval. Obviously, we know what the result of that was, and council decided not to pursue that. But instead, there was a motion passed to pursue a Downtown Heritage Task Force. And so in discussions internally and with the councilors and the mayor, there was some, maybe not confusion isn't the right word, but we already have there's a downtown task force that's in place right now called the Mayor's Neighborhood Investment Working Group. And so it was sort of like, are we duplicating these two ideas together, or could they merge into one? And it sounds like the goal essentially will be to kind of merge this Downtown Heritage Task Force group with that already existing Neighborhood Investment Working Group. So there'll be kind of like a heritage component to that Lauren will be part of. What that actually looks like, I don't know for certain at this point. I don't think we have a good idea of how their work will touch on heritage, or how the neighborhood investment working group will touch on heritage, because they're kind of a holistic group looking at all sorts of downtown issues. But heritage will now be a component of it. And in the grand scheme of things, we're still moving forward with the work that Lauren is going to talk about with downtown designations, and trying our best to do what we can before the Bill 23 deadlines kick in. So right now, unfortunately, there isn't a lot to report, but I can tell you that it looks like the Heritage Task Force, Downtown Heritage Task Force, is going to be part of another group that already exists. So hope that helps to explain what's going on there.
Okay, thanks. Lauren, do you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, just as far as designations go. So there was no designation subcommittee meeting this month, mostly because I hadn't made as much progress on things as I had hoped. And so I just like to update everybody, including task force members. So we did send out the letters to that 63 property list of prioritized properties. Seeking their consent to move forward with Part 4 designations. That was sent out Thursday, Friday of last week. We did send them out by registered mail, which means that they need to sign and confirm they've received it. And we gave them a 3-week deadline on responding to that piece of mail. They can call me or they can send me an email, indicating if they're interested in Part 4 designation, if they want more information, or if they're not interested in Part 4 designation. I've received, a handful of responses. I have 2 meetings set up for 2 properties that are interested and have questions. One property that has consented, and I think it's 4 or 5 properties who have requested that they Part 4 not be pursued. But that I can always tell when people there's always this rush. It's like I can tell when people receive it because I get 3 or 4 calls right all at the same time. So as people are receiving these, they're contacting me, and so I feel by next month when we meet for the designation subcommittee and also with this committee, we'll have a very clear sense of which are the prioritized property that we should start completing that research for, so we can move forward with the Part 4 designations on those. And also, just a quick heads up, at the next council meeting on September 8th, we will be putting the notice of intention to designate forward for 3 Elizabeth and 143 to 153 St. Paul Crescent. And then those notices will be put in the newspaper and published with the Ontario Heritage Trust, and we'll move forward with those designations. So.
Excellent.
Progress.
Do you have any questions for either James or Lauren? Ollie.
Sorry for being late. I was on the highway, just got home. I wanted to ask, I don't know if you're allowed to give the answer, or when you go to ask someone if they want to designate their property, such as the Welland Avenue one, the Picasso's hair salon, and they say, do they give any reasons why?
They're not required to give any reasons why. Sometimes they do. Several owners have given very loud reasons why. And sometimes people give the reasons why they do are pursuing it. But no, they don't have to. We just are asking for their consent or their involvement. And so yeah, whenever anyone ever says, they aren't interested right now, I say, if you are in the future ever interested in pursuing Part 4, reach out to me. And if we have existing research or anything already on file, we put that on file. And they're welcome to change their minds in the future. And who knows, things change, people change, property owners change, and maybe they will want to pursue it in the future.
We can entitle with a framed history and an ornamental plaque.
We
maybe.
always, yeah, we always give them we give them all the histories and all the records that we have. That is something that we do make sure we provide to all the property owners. But I think that is really important. Yeah.
Thank you.
The framed history would always be a nice little perk for them as well. They weren't that expensive to do either. Andrew, you had a question or comment?
Just related to that, I'm just wondering if there is or should be any mechanism for monitoring properties like that, that have been identified as good candidates, in the event that the property changes hands, and, everything changes hands eventually, right? So that when the new owner comes in, they can be approached rather than, have years go by and not attempted at least.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any way for us to do that in kind of like an automated way, because we are notified. We know when properties have new owners, but that would be an interesting idea. And then we can always ask the new owner.
So if there's no further questions or comments, then I guess we need a motion to receive the information presented by Lauren and James. Does anybody wish to make the motion? Maria, your hands are up, or your fingers are up, I should say. So all in favor? Okay, done. Miscellaneous items. We don't have any designations, subcommittee information to present. The one thing that I guess I should maybe mention at this time, for those of you who may not have heard, is that Corleen Taylor has passed away. She died earlier this month, I guess about 3 weeks ago, at the grand old age of 97. She is going to be missed by a lot of people, not only her colleagues at Mayhome, but people in the historic and genealogical communities at large. Of course, she's, left a great body of research behind her and money through her estate that is going to make sure that Mayhome continues to function as an institution for a good long time. And for anybody who wants to possibly attend the event on September the 5th, like the Friday after Labor Day, there's going to be memorial service of sorts for Corleen that's going to be held at Mayhome. I think it's from 1 until 4 or 1 until 5, something like that. I really don't have any details about what form it's going to take. I don't know if people are going to stand up and make speeches and talk about Corleen, or is it just going to be a meet and greet where people walk in and we can just talk amongst ourselves? But it will be at Mayhome on September 5th. And as well, I just wanted to announce that you may know that Dennis Gannon has given up his Yesterday and Today column in the newspaper, and Angus Scott, the editor of the Standard, has approached me about taking over that space, not as a Yesterday and Today type format, but he said, make the column what you will for yourself. So it's going to be more a general history kind of column, not Niagara Peninsula wide. So the world is going to be my oyster, and I think there's a Pulitzer Prize in the offing as well. So my first column is due to appear on September the 27th. So everybody go out and get your Standard, and then when we have the meeting in November, I will autograph for anybody who wishes. Anyway, we don't have any items of correspondence as far as I know. Holly?
Sorry, I was just clapping and saying congratulations about your news article. I think that's wonderful, Brian.
So I'll probably end up writing columns for as long as what Dennis did, probably the next 30 years until people get sick of seeing me.
Never.
And the name that I've proposed for the column is Everything Old is News Again. which
Will-
which
Will the
Angus thought was,
column include a photo, Brian?
Angus was asking about that. He said it's optional, so he said, give it some thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you. Anyway, so the date of our next meeting will be September the 25th at 2:30. Same bat time, same bat station. So that
Brian,
brings,
can I interject one thing for a minute? I just wanted to say that I went on one of Adrian's tours, run by this, St. Catharines Museum and Welland Canal Center on last Saturday, the 23rd, and it was excellent. I thought I knew a lot about the area, but he provided me with even more information. So congratulations on that, Adrian. And it went very, very well. And the group was enthralled with all the information he had to provide. So if you ever get a chance to do that, please consider it.
Thank you, Lorraine. That's very nice. Everyone was enthralled. We had a very engaged
They
group.
were enthralled.
Even when the Lancaster flew over and interrupted the tour,
Yeah.
we managed to continue talking about Meriton. So that was great.
That's right. Yes.
That's very kind, Lorraine. Thank you.
And sincerely meant.
these are the ghost walks at Victoria Lawn.
No, this is our walking tour. This one I did at Meriton.
Okay.
Ghost walks, or spirit walks, I should say.
Spirit walk.
Spirit walks open next Thursday, and they're almost sold out. So if you'd like to get your ticket, don't delay, because there's about 30 tickets over the 2 weekends remaining. So anyway, the two different things, but thank you, Larry.
And many of the people who were on the tour on Saturday had been on several other tours for the museum and thought, it was a great series.
The last time I was on a spirit walk, we had torrential monsoon type rain, and everything was soaked out at Victoria Lawn, and every mosquito in creation came out of bushes, and it was rather unpleasant in some spots, but it was more than made up for by the quality of the enactors who were present.
Thank you, Brian. Yes. Rain like right now. We're actually going to rehearse. We're going to rehearse inside tonight, so that because it's full dress rehearsal, and I don't want the costumes to get totally soaked. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough for me. Thank you, Lorraine.
Okay, thanks. Do we have someone who wishes to make the motion to adjourn or to terminate? Whichever terminology you wish to use. Robert, you're not sure?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. all in favor? Done. So it's 3:40 according to my clock. So thank you, everybody. And
Thanks,
we will
everyone.
see you anon.
Thank you,
See you
everyone.
next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
See you later.
everyone.